Yes, a very important topic on this channel. Benny the Boxer, Timothy Bradley, and Bob Arum exposed the truth about Devin Haney fanboys. And yes, it's going to get like that. So if this is a warning right now to all the sensitive Devin Haney fanboys who admire all his outfits, leave now. Leave. It's about to get ugly up in here.
It's going to be one of those videos, guys. It's going to be one of those videos. I said it's going to be one of those videos.
It is. Here's what Bernie the Boxer had to say on Mill City. If you don't know about Mill City Boxing, go subscribe to Mill City Boxing. He has great interviews like this one right here, where Bernie the Boxer told the truth about Devin Haney fanboys.
Joshua Plummer, thank you for the 5-piece. We all know Bernie don't like Dev. Keep bluffing Shakur.
Well, like I said, it's more about this guy can't tell me what he like about Devin. They saying all I'm hating about Devin, but I'm saying and you can't understand this character. A lot of these guys say I'm not gonna argue with these guys because they don't even know nothing about, when I say boxing history, just the way they never read on fighters, how they think, how they live, they don't even know. So they just going off, he got nice clothes, he got nice jewelry. That's all they really like, and they gay. They don't even like how he fight. He don't fight.
We don't co-sign to any LGBTQ slander, by the way.
But when he fights, he's not dynamic like that. His best fight was Prograde. I thought Prograde was washed. So it's not that like, and then again, there's no humility in his character. That's what they don't fail to realize, that rubs me the wrong way about Devin. It's not so much his fighting ability, it's his humility. He doesn't have that. And even with the Shane Mosley incident, like Shane said, Shane just an honest guy and a nice guy for real. Like he said, man, they tore up my house. They didn't want to pay me for my house. I mean, they did, but look how they did my house. I mean, that's even just disrespectful to tear up the house, to be honest. Shane Mosley, a legend, a nice guy like that. Why would you have all these niggas running around his house, tearing up his house? And then y'all don't even want to pay for the house? Nobody refuted that. Shane said that, honest, clear. And Devin didn't say, oh, he making it up. He just trying to get money because he broke. And then he didn't have nothing. He didn't have nothing. Bill didn't even apologize or say nothing or nothing. They never even nothing. And Shane said it straight out, like, man, they tore up my house. They didn't.
Now you heard Bernie the Boxer, and he's one of the trainers for Terrence Bud Crawford. So if you want to try to attack him and be like, oh, he don't know nothing about, this is one of the trainers for Bud Crawford, and he's been with Bud Crawford since day one. He's one of Bud Crawford's day ones. Now, Timothy Bradley also has something to say about Devin Haney, and we're going to listen to what Timothy Bradley had to say.
Bradley, you already know the rest. Hey, real quick, Devin Haney, whoever came with that nickname, Debo Dev, bro, that's the dumbest nickname I ever heard, bro.
First of all, I got a nickname for Dev. It's Dweebo Dev. All right, let's go.
Ain't nothing Debo about no damn Devin Haney. Ain't nothing Debo about Devin Haney, period. 1, 2, bro, you call your opponent a bum, bro? You fighting bum, bro? That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. I would think with all the experience you got, bro. Come on, Dev. Seriously. You don't want no credit for this? If you win this fight, you don't want no credit for this? Bro, I'm telling you, man, I've heard the same rhetoric, bro, the same lame ass talking you did when you was fighting Ryan Garcia. I heard the same thing, bro. The same levels above you. I fought better competition than you. Man, you ain't nothing, this and that. And Ryan Garcia cooked your ass, bro. For real. Bro, you gonna get cooked, man. See, you still ain't learned, bro. You gonna get cooked, bro. Telling you gotta learn how to respect your opponents, man. I'm telling you. You fighting a dark horse, bro. You fighting a dude, bro. I'm telling you. He got nothing to lose. He got everything to gain, bro. All the pressure's on you, Haney. All the pressure's on you. Yeah, it's not on the champ. No. You coming up to challenge him. You think you better than him. Oh, I'm telling you, Haney, when you feel those stompers, bro, your ass gonna get on your bike so fast, boy. Hey, you gonna turn that 10 speed into an 18 speed. I promise you. You getting on that bike when you feel those stompers, bro. I promise you that. Because, hey, Brian Norman Jr., he ain't coming in there to play with you, bro. He going to power box your ass, bro. I'm telling you. I'm trying to tell you. Yeah, and when your ass get caught with that left hook again, bro, he going to take you down memory lane, bro. And it's going to be Brian Garcia all over again. Yeah, but this time, boy, it's going to be this man from ATL. Yeah, ATL. Brian Norman Jr. on your ass. But anyways, that's my time.
So that's what Timothy Bradley had to say. Now, if you don't know, Bob Arum did do some, he promoted Devin Haney for a little bit, but now he is Brian Norman Jr.'s promoter. And so when people say, well, Devin wouldn't have taken this fight if he didn't think he could beat Brian Norman Jr., Bob Arum wouldn't have matched Brian Norman Jr. against Devin Haney if he didn't think Devin Haney could beat him. If he didn't think Brian Norman Jr. could beat Devin Haney. So now let's listen to what Bob Arum had to say about this fight.
What I'm really excited about, Brian Norman, who's the welterweight champion, has been coming on like a house of fire, fighting Devin Haney. I think Norman, I like his chances very much against Haney because I think Norman is stronger, a better puncher. Haney has been sort of writing in his performances and doesn't look to be as lethal as he was when he was a lighter weight fighter. This is a huge fight with Haney because Haney is a bigger name, has more exposure. And so if you beat somebody like Haney, people begin to pay attention to you more than they did before. Brian not only is a terrific fighter, but he's a very articulate kid, and his niceness as a person comes through, and I think people will relate to that. I love his preparation. I love his confidence. The father is tremendous. He's training him. Brian is an all-around nice guy who is very, very talented and is super strong. I mean, he has great knockout power. Is one of these kids that nobody really was focusing on, who comes out of nowhere and dominates the division. And I think he'll be a dominant force in the welterweight division.
Now that we've heard from some of the people in the game about how they feel about this, we will turn it over to one of the most electrifying, entertaining analysts in the YouTube boxing world, Complex Gent. Let's hear your take on this.
Thank you. There was some good content from the guys, Bernie, Timothy Bradley, and Bob Arum. No respect to all of them. Obviously, they've done a lot more in boxing than me. But I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to disagree with all three of them entirely, completely. And this is the reason why. It's funny. I'm not a doctor, but I do play one on TV, and I've actually come up with a new diagnosis. And I think all three of these gentlemen, and potentially Caden, might suffer from this. So we might want to, get them to a more well-trained medical professional. But it's called Haney derangement syndrome, HDS. Haney derangement syndrome. All right. There's something about Devin Haney that gets these guys way off kilter and way off base. Why? I do not know. But I think I do know why. I think I got it. After watching all these videos, there's a certain thread.
There's a cure for that too. It's called Brian Norman Jr.
You're hoping that's secure. But unfortunately, I think it's going to send you guys even to more of a path. So I'm actually worried about you. So let's see. Let's break it down. This is what people are mad at Devin Haney for. Let me look at it this way. Bernie the boxer talked about. He said it's not even about Devin's skills. It's about his humility, how he is as a person. Got it. You don't like Devin as a person, but you respect his skills, but you don't like him as a person. You don't think the way he lives, the way he carries himself, the way he operates is up to snuff, right? Okay, so that's your personal feeling about him, right? He's not humble enough. He's not whatever. Cool. Timothy Bradley said the same thing. Devin Haney hasn't learned. He's called his opponent a bum, right? He hasn't learned his lesson. He did the same thing against Ryan Garcia, and he's not humble enough. He's gonna make a mistake. He's not taking Brian Norman seriously. Cool. Then Bob Arum says, "Oh well, I like this kid Brian Norman. He's very respectful. He's very articulate, and I always feel weird when a older Caucasian person tells a young black person that they're articulate. It's like, did you not expect me to be? But in any event, I won't hold that against Bob." And Bob Arum also
he speaks well.
He speaks well. Yeah, he's so well spoken. In any event, Bob also talks about, Bob used to promote Haney and he doesn't anymore. And I'm sure there's some whatever feelings there, you know what I mean? But, the whole thing comes down to respect and humility. And people are mad that Devin isn't humble. And my saying is deal with it. At the end of the day, Haney is who he thinks he is. And he has every reason to
He's
think
Floyd?
he is who
Sorry,
is.
go ahead.
He has every reason to think he is. Let me break this down for you. This is all comes down to Haney has done things that he was not supposed to do in this sport. People are mad at him. He got undisputed. You remember the whole email the belt thing? Oh, you got emailed the belt. You're not a real fighter, whatever. Then he went undisputed. What can you say now? What can you say now? He did what everybody was saying he couldn't do, and he did it. And people are mad at that. He beat Lomachenko. Oh, Lomachenko, who, by the way, has got way more ridiculous fanboys than Haney. And we can talk about that another time. Lomachenko fanboys are on another level of delusion. But that's one thing. He beat Lomachenko. People aren't happy about that. Okay, fine. People are mad at Devin, the way he moves, the way he whatever. If you don't like him as a person, I totally agree. That's fine. Because I don't even know if I like him as a person. I don't know him as a person. I only know from what I've seen in boxing, whatever. But if you are talking about him in the ring, you have to have some respect for him. For this reason, people keep hinging on the Ryan Garcia loss, right? Well, he lost to Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia tapped that butt, all that stuff, right? Let's take a step back. Ryan Garcia came in overweight, right? That makes a difference in the fight. Ryan Garcia didn't have to suck himself dry to get, pause. Didn't have to dry himself.
Yo, hold on a second. Yo, that's a new level.
I'm
loving
Whoa. Ryan Garcia didn't have to
reset
dry himself, right. Didn't have to dry himself out and drop weight. So he came into the fight fresher. That makes a difference. Then two, the brother pop for Austrian or whatever. I don't care what you want to say. There should be 0% of any drug in your system. So the simple fact that there was anything in there makes me question it. So that loss is no longer a loss. Deal with it. It's no longer a loss. It's not a real loss. It's a no contest. Then he wanted to fight Garcia again, and then Garcia lost. Deal with it. That's not right. That's not, Devin Haney's fault. Now Devin Haney, he's won a belt at 140. He's going up to 147. He's fighting Brian Norman. And when he beats Brian Norman, you guys are going to have to deal with it again. Look, at the end of the day, the kid can box. Him and his dad have got something going on here. If you don't like, a lot of people also don't like his dad, which is also understandable. As a person, you might think he's a little too whatever. I get it. But at the end of the day, you got to look at things objectively, right? Take all the hate, the derangement about him personally, out to the side and just look at it in the ring. Haney has proven himself in the ring, whether you like it or not. There was a commenter on one of our videos last week who was like, oh, I think I said that he was a Hall of Famer. He was like, oh, you're crazy to say he's a Hall of Famer. You mean to tell me he won undisputed at 135. He beat Lomachenko. He won a belt at 140. And if he wins a belt at 147, you still won't think he's a Hall of Famer? That's derangement syndrome. You're not being objective because there's guys who made into the Hall of Fame with less than that. So obviously Haney's making it to the Hall of Fame off his accomplishments alone right now. If you want to talk about Devin Haney, if you want to break down the ring, oh, he's got a weak chin. Okay, you say he's got a weak chin, but he's never been knocked out. Even when you guys say, oh, Ryan tapped that ass, all that stuff, he got knocked down 3 times. He got up every time. And he was still boxing well. There's a chance he could have even won some of the scorecards if he wasn't knocked down. I mean, he was winning more of the rounds than Ryan. So it's not like he was completely out of the fight. He was still doing his job. And one thing about Haney is that he doesn't just fight one way. He's got multiple ways to fight. So, yes, he might get on his bike. Yes, he might stand in the pocket. Yes, he might go to the body. He might do all these different things. But at the end of the day, he's winning. And until we can finally see somebody beat him and you have a realistic reason to hate on him, then you can go with that. But just going off of, well, the way he dresses and whatever, he's not humble, deal with it. All right. You got to find somebody to beat him legitimately in the ring, and nobody's been able to do that yet. So until that happens, all these Haney haters, you know what I'm saying? All these guys got all this stuff to hate about Haney. They're just going to have more fuel and more things to hate about him because they're going to be so mad that they're not going to be vindicated. People are still relying on the Ryan Garcia no contest when Ryan Garcia's even lost after that. So Ryan Garcia is not on his job, but nobody's hating on Ryan Garcia because he doesn't have anything to live up to. Haney has all this pressure on him, so everybody is looking to him to lose. So at the end of the day, you know, all these guys, I respect them, and they can feel their way, and they probably know Devin personally. Maybe that's why they don't like him. And I agree. Hey, he might be a dick in person, but so far in the ring, you got to respect what the kid's done. You know, they want to take away his wins. Oh, the Lomachenko was really a loss. Well, not to the judges. And those are the guys who matter, all right? So let's stop it there. If the fight was even close enough that it had to go to the scorecards and he won, then let's be real. He at least is good enough to get that far. He can't have been that washed or that bad. You know what I'm saying? So let's stop it, all right? People are going a little far with Devin Haney. I don't even know. Every time when I saw these videos, I was like, what did he do to make people so mad? Like, what did Devin really do? So that's what I would like to understand. So Caden, I've said my piece. I know you have a lot to say. So I'm interested to hear how you are handling your Haney derangement syndrome these days. I hope it's not keeping you up at night. And, you know, hopefully after, the Ring 4 card, it doesn't, you know, send you over the edge. I'm gonna have a watch on you. All right. I got to pay attention to my boy here because I need you for the show.
This is the beauty of this, because you get to watch this in real time, and then you can diagnose which one of us is deranged, because you heard what Complex had to say. You're going to hear my response. Now, you tell me whose response is rooted in substance, rooted in logic, and not about feelings, but about facts, okay? So first, we're going to start with this notion that people don't like Devin Haney because he's not humble, right? Or he lacks humility. The same people who dislike Devin Haney are people who loved Floyd Money Mayweather. Floyd Money Mayweather was the most braggadocious. He was the flashiest. He was the best. But the difference was Floyd's talent actually lived up to his attitude. Floyd wasn't just flashy, cocky, brash, but he took the best fighters in the world and he made them look amateur. He made them look like they never belonged in the ring with him. Devin doesn't do that. Devin barely gets by, even in his best fights, right? Well, you take Vasily Lomachenko, right? There are people who believe Vasily Lomachenko beat Devin Haney. In fact, I'm one who believes that Vasily Lomachenko beat Devin Haney. I score the fights live, as you see, contemporaneous notes. So I don't get to go back. So this is what people do. I'm going to tell you what people do, right? And by people, I am also going to call out Complex for a time he did this. See, contemporaneous notes, when you're watching it live and on the spot. See, I score it live so that I put myself out there. I know people who conform so that they can be with the group. So they'll see it one way, one night, and then after the group think takes over and they want to be a part of the group think, or they want to roll with a certain group of people, they change their mind. See, Caden doesn't change his mind because Caden knows what he's watching when he sees it. So I scored a fight. Vasily Lomachenko beat Devin Haney. Just like the first Tyson Fury fight against Deontay Wilder, Caden saw Tyson Fury beat Deontay Wilder. You know who else saw that? Complex. But then Complex had to go back and watch the fight again to convince himself that it was actually a draw. When he knows, when he first watched that fight, Tyson Fury beat Deontay Wilder, but because he likes Deontay Wilder and he wanted, you know what, Deontay Wilder did do enough to get a draw. No, you saw it right the first time. Tyson Fury beat Deontay Wilder. Vasily Lomachenko beat Devin Haney. I saw it the first time. I scored it the right way. I know who won that fight. Just like most of the people watching that fight knows who won that fight. So you can say Devin beat Vasily Lomachenko, but it doesn't hit the way it hits when you say Floyd Mayweather beat Manny Pacquiao. It doesn't hit the way it hits when you say Floyd Mayweather beat some of these legends, because Floyd actually dominated them. We know Floyd won that fight. Devin right, he had the right judges on the right night. So, yeah, he won that fight. But he really didn't win that fight in the court of public opinion. And the court of public opinion is what matters in this situation. Because even when someone gets robbed and they lose a fight, when the public thinks they won the fight, the public treats them as such. So there's a reason. Devin Haney got the victory over Vasily Lomachenko, but the public doesn't believe he won. Another thing, Ryan Garcia came in overweight. Yes, he did come in overweight. You know who knew that before the fight? Devin Haney knew that before the fight. But did Devin Haney call off the fight? No. His arrogance, his ego, his lack of humility made him take money and still step in the ring saying, I'm going to beat you anyway. I'm an A-level fighter. You a C-level fighter. This weight doesn't matter. Everyone knew Ryan wasn't going to make weight before he stepped on the scale. Devin even called him out for it at one of the pre-fight press conferences. He called him out and said, you're not even going to make weight. It was the worst kept secret in boxing that Ryan Garcia wasn't going to make weight. But remember, leading up to that fight, Ryan was spiraling. He was using drugs. He was drinking. He was doing all this. This was supposed to be an easy gimme for Devin. It was supposed to be a gimme for Devin. Devin walked in that ring arrogant. Devin was so arrogant, he wore an outfit to the ring. He didn't even wear a boxing uniform to the ring. This dude had on like Uggs in the ring. He had on like Balenciaga type Uggs in the ring. You could see pictures of his feet up. At least whoever put the sneakers on Devin got some good traction that night. This is why people don't like Devin. You mean to tell me you thought you were so many levels above Ryan Garcia, you would actually wear Uggs into the fight? Name a time Floyd Money Mayweather showed up wearing Uggs to a fight. Yeah, he showed up with some crazy outfits. He showed up with a sombrero. But you know what? He had on the proper attire to actually fight. This man was so cooked. He thought he was so many levels above Ryan Garcia. He showed up in the ring wearing boots. Even Jerome Boots Ennis doesn't actually wear boots in the ring. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, so let me get down to this. Oh, Ryan Garcia, he had to take drugs. He had a billionth of a gram of ostarine, which is on point with it being contamination. So Ryan Garcia also tests clean. In every test leading up to the fight. It was the test after the fight that had a billionth of a gram, which is why those who actually know how science works say it was most likely contamination. And he wasn't using this to gain an advantage. But if you want to use that, fine, okay? But again, to those who know how science works, right, contamination happens. And it wouldn't be the first time there was contamination. There was contamination in other fights, like Dillian White's, where decisions had to be overturned. Not in Ryan's case, because the NYC had the ostarine, the B samples, everything had the ostarine. So it was in Ryan's system. But my point is, making it seem like he was using this throughout training camp to get an advantage on Devin Haney is disingenuous, because he had 3 tests prior to the test of the night of the fight, and those tests came back clean. See, those who know, so we don't fall for the gullible BS. Now, let's get to this. Bob Arum, really what he's talking about is he wants return on his investment. See, Bob Arum invested in Devin Haney's success. Bob Arum actually fed Vasily Lomachenko to Devin Haney. He did, because he thought Devin Haney was going to have some loyalty to him. But Devin had no loyalty to him, just like Devin had no loyalty to Eddie Hearn. Devin gets around like Tupac. I get around. Devin gets around. Yeah, Devin gets around. Devin asleep with Eddie. I mean, Devin will get in bed with, Devin will sign to any promotional company. He went from, Nasty Nas to Esco to Escobar. Now he's with Turkey Al-Sheikh. That's your boy Devin, right? Devin is going to go with whoever got them hot pockets, which if you see how he chooses his partners, is no surprise. But anyways, let me get back to this right here, right? I'm going to tell you the real reason why Devin Haney isn't liked. Devin Haney is not liked because, one, he disrespects the Mayweathers. Now, if you've been following boxing for as long as I've been following boxing, you've seen Devin get exposure since he was a little kid in the Mayweather gym, training with Floyd Mayweather Sr., training with the Mayweathers 4 years. They invested in Devin. Actually, when Devin looked the best, he was under the tutelage of Floyd Joy Mayweather Sr., the best trainer of all time. Not this time, part-time, but of all time, right? He was under Floyd Mayweather Sr. But eventually the Haneys were like, oh, you know what? We learned everything. We learned everything we need to learn from them. We're going to move on and do our own thing, right? But what happened years later? They start firing shots at Floyd Mayweather. I told you, Mayweather's hype. Mayweather is not humble. He brags. He's arrogant. But people love Floyd. People respect Floyd. These guys learned the game from Floyd, then take shots at Floyd, right? All the while building Devin Haney up to be a cheap imitation of Floyd. He's not even a Temu imitation of Floyd. He's not even a Dollar Tree imitation of Floyd. He's not even a Dollar General imitation of Floyd. Like, this guy is, it's horrible watching him. I'm so glad that Brian Norman Jr. called him out. Another reason people don't like Devin Haney is because you watch him go from this guy who had a private school kid persona to now being a street guy. Nobody likes fake. Nobody likes fake. I don't care what it is. This guy has become fake, phony, and people are watching it. There's an interview of Bill Haney saying, we didn't know anything about boxing when we got into this game. Now Bill's running around like he's the greatest trainer of all time. There's Devin coming in. There's video of Devin. Devin tried to holler at India Love back in the days. She curved him. Then once he started winning fights, he could pay. He bought our Range Rover, bought all this. Y'all think it's cool, like, oh, Devin got these good. No, he's paying. He's paying. It's payment. That's for if y'all hip. You know what I mean? And you know this. I used to get delivered to me. I didn't even know it was coming.
Oh, no.
I ain't never had to. Never. Can't respect that. Can't respect that. Like,
yeah, that's tough. That's
trip fell and landed in some. You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So I can't respect a true player is a payer. No, a loser is a payer. So let me just get back to these last two. Another reason why people don't like Devin is because Devin lost to Ryan. It immediately wanted to sue for battery. Battery in a boxing match. Do you understand the hypocrisy in that? It's a sport where the whole purpose of the sport is for you to batter each other. And you consent to that when you actually play the sport. When you play a sport, you consent to any battery within the scope of the sport. In football, they batter each other, but they consent to it. Now, you can't kick someone. You can't punch someone. If you do that, that's beyond the scope. That would be a battery. Nothing Ryan did was beyond the scope. And if you're going to box, there's a possibility that you're going to fight someone who uses performance enhancement drugs. It's called assumption of risk. When you get on a roller coaster, you assume the risk. Well, not really, because it's a roller coaster, something different. All right, let's say you decide to drive go-karts. They make you fill out a release. When you fill out the release, you're assuming the risk that if something happens, that's on you. When you box, you assume the risk of the dangers that come with that sport. Like someone taking PEDs. We seen Miguel Cotto get beat with plaster of Paris from Antonio Margarito. Did he cry? Did he demand to get his record expunged? No. He asked for a rematch. I was at that fight. A Complex was at that fight. And we watched Miguel Cotto get his get back. And this is the issue with Devin. It's not the fact that Devin was in the wrong. You're not in the wrong for wanting an up-and-up fight. It's the way he went about it. If he would have just done it differently, his record still gets expunged and he still looks good, right? If he would, let's put you like this. If Devin calls for the immediate rematch, instead of looking to get his record expunged, all the while behind the scenes, working to get his record expunged, but was calling for the immediate rematch, which he signed to do eventually, and it all plays out the way it does, people look at Devin and they actually respect the way he handled it. It's the way he was crying and doing all this stuff. I'll never fight Ryan again. I never been overmatched like that. How you go from I never been overmatched like that to talking the way you talking to Brian Norman Jr.? Bill Haney, how you go from trying to be a role model to teaching parents how to raise their son to talk about I'm 50 and 0 in the streets? Like, this is what they're phony. That's why people don't like them, because you look at them and you see phony. This is a contradiction. This is just a group of contradictions. Like, that's the issue. Like how Jalen Love called out Timothy Bradley for saying, oh, you off code, but then being married to someone outside of his race. Well, Bill Haney is pro this, but Devin, I was raised by my stepmom, but I'll never lose to a white boy. Like, these are the things that make people not like Devin. Because, like, you can't be a fraud like that. The issue with Devin is not that people don't like him because he's cocky and he's not humble. People don't like him because he's a fraud. And people don't invest in frauds. And with that, I'll close. I don't like Devin Haney anymore because I'm not going to be conned by a fraud. I don't think he's as good as they presented him to be after watching him with Vasily Lomachenko, watching him with Ryan Garcia, watching him run from Ramirez. I don't think he's as good as they hype him up to be. After seeing how he fell down so many times from a left hook and couldn't stop it, I think he's overrated. So I'm not going to fall for the con. I'm not going to fall for it. I'm telling you what I think it is, and that's what the people who don't like Devin Haney are telling you too. But you can make it out to be whatever you want to be. Now, I know I went for a while. Good content is good content. So if you got a rebuttal, go ahead. I'll let you close, and I'm not going to respond.
No worries. You did say a lot of good things. I was trying to keep mental notes. Couple of things. One, I love that you guys bring up that Wilder and Fury thing, and I can actually explain that. So what happened is contemporaneous notes, right? In that fight, I actually scored the fight on Twitter, but I didn't calculate because at the end of the fight, you know, after I scored each round, whatever, I gave each point, but the commentators, everything sounded like Fury was winning. And then you had that Hail Mary punch at the last 12th round, everything went down, and it looked like, okay, Fury should have won. That's what the judges were saying and everything. But then when I went back and looked at it, I looked at my scorecard, I was like, wait a second, I did score the draw. Actually, I was like, yeah, that's actually right. It is a draw. And then when I look back on everything, I was like, wait a second, yeah, the commentators were saying this, but actually when I look at it, Wilder did win these rounds, and Wilder did all this. So I was like, wait a second, this is all off. So that's when I learned, hey, don't just listen to the commentators, listen to your own notes. And at that time, I knew at that point that the fight was actually a draw. But that's to the side. I just want to clarify that because I want people they love to get into this Wilder Fury debate.
Years later, you know what I'm saying? I just used the evidence that was out there.
To say that.
Don't get mad at the evidence. I'm just using the evidence.
Let me bring it back. Let me bring it back to Haney. You said a lot of good things, but everything you said legitimately is along the same line that Haney doesn't do what he's supposed to do. And that comes down to the Haney derangement syndrome. Haney and the Mayweathers. He doesn't respect Floyd. He doesn't treat Floyd a certain way. He does things this way, right? He's supposed to be respectful to Floyd. He's supposed to show reverence to Floyd for training him and doing whatever. The Haneys are doing it their own way. What's his face? Lomachenko was fed to him. Really, Lomachenko was fed to Devin Haney because Bob Arum was supposed to make Devin Haney a bigger star than Lomachenko. Really? Okay, Lomachenko was fed to him, but Devin didn't stay with him, wasn't loyal to him. He's supposed to do that. He's supposed to be respectful and be happy that he's there. So he should have done that. Yeah.
Just quickly, and I'll let you keep cooking. Do you think that Devin Haney gets to fight Lomachenko if he's not signed with Bob Arum?
No, and that's probably why he signed. That's why he probably.
That's my point.
But no, that is the point. That's why Devin moves from promoter to promoter. That's how he's able to get Undisputed. He was with DAZN. He was with Top Rank. He goes back to DAZN. Now he's with.
No, I agree with that.
Right.
But my thing is there has to be, in the promoter's eyes, at least some deception because you're signing this deal with them. They believe that they're invested in you to become a superstar by giving you one of their prized possessions, and then when you beat the prized possession, you leave them. That's all. I
don't co-sign that. I don't co-sign that. That's like girls who are like, well, I let you hit. I thought you were supposed to be my boyfriend. I let you have some. I thought we were supposed to be in a relationship. No, if we didn't have that specific conversation, then that's not the situation here. All right. You got what you wanted. I got what I wanted. You guys got to fight. I signed to the deal. I signed my fight promotion. I've played out my contract. I don't owe you anything. Devin's the one in the ring putting.
And that's fair. But if other women watching see the way that you dealt with the women you were with prior to that, and they decide they don't like you or they don't want to touch you, then why are they wrong for that?
They're not wrong. But at the end of the day, Devin is he's still getting signed. Because at the end of the day, he's now the name that they need to beat, right? If they want to build up their name, they have to go through him. So he's now, let's say he does win the 147 strap, he now becomes a target. Now you got to do business with them, whether you like it or not. It is what it is. But this is my point. I was saying the Bob Arum thing, the Floyd thing, even the way they act. Well, you come from a private school background, but you're acting tough. You're not supposed to act that way. You're not supposed to. Bill Haney's not supposed to act this way. He's doing it this way. At the end of the day, the Haneys are doing it the way they want to, right? Like it or not. My point is this: objectively, if you feel like Devin's a fraud in the ring, you can feel that way because he does get wobbled. He has been dropped. He has not shown that he's levels above like how Floyd does. But one thing he's shown is a certain grit and determination to make it to that 12th round, and he comes out on top more times than not. And even in the time that he did not, there was a reason for it. Let me ask you, do you have a billionth of Ostarine in your system right now? I know I don't. So I don't know where Devin, Ryan.
But if they put Ostarine in this, then I might.
Yeah, but guess what? They couldn't produce the sample that would have had the Ostarine. The company themselves were like, we don't have anything traced in our system. And there was proof that he might have been using diuretics. Listen, I know, I'm not a doctor. You're not a scientist. So the science that people know or whatever.
I'm a sweet scientist, pause. When it comes to the boxing, I'm a scientist.
Don't be too sweet now. But this is my point. At the end of the day, the Ryan Garcia loss is a no contest. They were supposed to do it again. Ryan didn't do his job. So I don't see why everybody wants to bring up that loss, but nobody wants to ever talk about anything else. The wins, the close wins, the tough fights that Devin's come through. This is my point. Devin has shown to me enough, at least in the ring, that I give him the credit. Do I think he's a world beater? I think he beat everybody? No, absolutely not. I think he's absolutely beatable. But every fight, it feels like people are just waiting for him to lose because they want him to get his comeuppance, because they consider him to be a fraud, because they think he doesn't do what he's supposed to do. And my point is that you guys are setting yourselves up because you're not taking things objectively. You're allowing your personal feeling about him to come into play. Now, you might also feel like personally, from a pure boxing standpoint, that Haney is not as good as Brian Norman Jr. We'll talk about that in the next video, and I'll prove to you why you guys are still not utilizing your objectivity there, because I think people are not taking into account certain things, and you're still worrying about past fights or whatever, all this stuff, and you're not looking at Devin Haney as himself. So I'll close by saying this. Do you have a right to hate Devin Haney? Sure, everybody has a personal opinion, but at the same time, like, really think about why you hate him. Is it, if what he's done in the ring is not enough to you, then you got to really question a lot of other fighters, right? If you the fighters that you do like, right? If what Devin's done in the ring is not enough for you to have respect, then you got to really question a lot of guys what they've done is enough. I bring up Lomachenko. People will die and say Lomachenko right now is a Hall of Famer somehow. Whereas to me, Lomachenko lost all of his big fights. I think Lomachenko's lost multiple times, and he's at the best. Yeah, he was great in the ring. He made people quit. He did all this stuff. That was great. But at the same time, he lost. He lost his second pro fight. Then he lost against Teal. Then he lost against Devin. I just don't think that.
I don't want to get into a debate with you, but when you got to add the context to that. He lost his second pro fight. He was fighting a championship fighter. How many fighters are fighting for a title in their second?
That's fine, but that's my point.
The title in their third fight, but you want people to consider accolades when it comes to Devin, but then you want to tear it down when it comes to.
I'm not tearing him down.
World champion in his third fight.
That's fine.
World champion in his third fight.
But also contact him
like guys like Axeman,
like $300 or $400.
Guillermo Rigondeaux. Those are
he
good.
Wasn't your normal amateur. He wasn't your normal.
Yeah, but complex. He beat Nicholas Walters. He beat Guillermo Rigondeaux. He beat Gary Russell Jr. One of them. He beat Gary Russell Jr. He beat a lot of good fighters. You can't just sit there and discredit him.
I'm not discrediting him. That's my point. This is my point. I all those wins absolutely matter, but then the wins matter, so do the losses. Lomachenko has legitimate losses. To me, Devin doesn't have any losses, right? You might want to say he lost to Lomachenko. You might want to say he lost to Ryan Garcia, but technically, those aren't losses.
Does the way you lose matter?
Until he actually loses,
matter. Lose. Does the way you lose matter? You lose to Devin in
agreed.
a close fight.
Agreed.
You lose to Tio, but you came on in the later round.
That's the story with Lomachenko. Oh, he just started late. Listen, at the end of the day, if you want to give Lomachenko credit for his losses, then you got to give Devin credit for his wins. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you're talking to me. I never said Devin wasn't a Hall of Famer. That I conceded that.
Your Haney derangement syndrome hasn't caught on that far, but there's guys who. That's my point. Is that there's guys who hate him so much that they won't even give him credit for his wins. And that's what's crazy to me.
I disagree with that.
If you have to do mental gymnastics to give Lomachenko credit for losses, you got to give Devin credit for his wins. And if you're giving him credit for his wins, he's a Hall of Famer. And if he's a Hall of Famer at 20-something years old, that means it's pretty damn good. All right? That's all I got to say.
There are guys in the Hall of Fame that don't have a fraction of Devin Haney's accomplishments. Now, the problem is people get the splitting hairs, right? He beat George Kambosos to become undisputed. George Kambosos was the Mario Barrios of his day. Once George Kambosos beat Teofimo Lopez, everybody was looking to hit the sweepstakes. And again, this is another guy who Devin got because he was with Top Rank. And so he got Kambosos because he was with Top Rank. And then he got Vasily Lomachenko because he was with Top Rank. And this is what I'm saying to you when I say, if you're looking at Bob Arum is thinking, I did right by you. I made you a star. And you left me, right? His career hasn't gone well since he left Bob too, by the way. But Bob's saying, you left me. And now Bob has a guy who can come in there and he believes, and Bob's a very good matchmaker, believes is going to beat Devin Haney. This is return on investment. This is Bob Arum saying, I'm coming back to repo everything.
This is the same Bob Arum who said that. This is the same Bob Arum who said that he could have bought a house in Malibu with the money he spent on Terrence Crawford. And now that same Terrence Crawford is the biggest boxer in the world, having one of the biggest fights in history. So Bob Arum, respect to him, does know a lot about boxing. He's done a lot. But Bob Arum makes terrible mistakes at times.
And you can't be a boss unless you take a loss. You know that too. Now, I'll tell you what, it's not just Terrence. Bob Arum has fumbled massive bags. He fumbled
Andy Ruiz.
He fumbled Pacquiao, fumbled Cotto, fumbled Terrence.
But I still respect for all his losses. That's what you said. You make a good point. The reason why, when you're in the game long enough, like in football, if you look at some of the best QBs and their number of touchdowns, they also usually have a high number of interceptions. Like I forget, you're gonna have interceptions when you throw the ball that many times, when you're in the game that long. So you have to take the wins and the losses. So I agree. No disrespect to Bob Arum, but let's just wrap this up. I think we're definitely gonna go into Devin and Brian.
No, I think some good points was made, but in the end, and you could take us out. I just want to say, let us know in the comment section. Is it Haney derangement syndrome or is it just Haney? Is the problem Haney derangement syndrome or is the problem Haney? Let us know in the comment section.
Thank you for watching. This is Corner to Corner with Caden and Complex. Like the video, share the video with your friends, share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, let people know we're here. Join the conversation too. Come join us, talk to us. We'd be in the comment section. We're going to respond to you. So let us know what you think. It's Corner to Corner with Caden and Complex. We out.